Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 582 of the DrunkNerds Podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Oh man, I'm doing all right. Kind of tired from the beginning of this last week and stuff. Obviously, with the after effects of Extra Life, it's taken like the entire week really to get my body back on the right track. But even so, dude, I'm doing okay. I mean, had some time to try out some like other games and stuff. I've had the time to kind of take like a walk or something yesterday and
Noise?
stuff. Actually went down to a couple like convenience stores or something like that, like the drugstores and stuff. Just look around or look for holiday gifts and whatsoever. But other than that, man, I mean, I'm in a pretty good mood right now because the 49ers won. So I consider that a win for this past week. But how are you doing?
Doing all right, back to work. That sucks. Recording this on a
Mm,
Sunday, which is a little different, but that's all right. But I'm it could be better. Packers lost, but hey, they looked good while they lost, and that means Packers get they're showing signs of life, and Packers get a better pick next year in the draft. So
that's
to me,
true.
this year, that's all that matters. So but yeah, no, I'm doing okay. Finally recovered from that extra life. I feel like it wasn't like a major recovery, but it was definitely like it wasn't like as bad as it's been like in past years, but it definitely was like it was a
No,
lingering one where it's just like it took me like a couple days to get the energy back, but it's nice
yeah,
having a long weekend there to do that. It was very busy. It wasn't a very fun 5 day weekend though. I had the doctor appointments, vet visits, stuff like that. So it was busy, but got to catch up on some sleep a little bit and
mm,
get some relaxation for the winter comes and shit gets crazy. So, but
yes,
other than that, I'm doing okay. Gables, I got a question for you though.
yeah. What's
So
up?
tomorrow, as of recording, it is Sunday night here. In the morning, the Game Awards nominees come out. I believe it's at nine
Oh,
o'clock Pacific time that the nominees come out.
9 o'clock. Okay.
Um, about a month ago, we did a prediction for what we
Yes, we
thought the
did.
nominees would be. This was like end of October. We did this. So at that point in time, Gables, we
Yeah.
picked Mario Wonder, Spider-Man 2, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Resident Evil 4, Armored Core 6.
Yes.
Last time for the nominees come out. Is there anything you'd like to change?
Okay. Repeat to me the list again.
All right. We have so mind you, there are certain games that have come out since then. This was right after Spider-Man and Mario Wonder came out. We did this. Mario Wonder,
Yes.
Spider-Man 2, Zelda, Baldur's Gate 3, Resident Evil 4, Armored Core 6.
All right. There is a change I would like to make
Okay.
upon this guest and stuff on this list.
Is it taking out Zelda and
I'm
putting in RoboCop?
Oh man. Oh man. This is actually going to be something kind of a little bit controversial. I think it's going to be taking out Mario Wonder to put in Alan Wake 2.
I agree with putting in Alan Wake 2, but I think either Resident Evil 4 or Armored Core 6 come out. And
I see.
I would say Resident Evil 4 because I feel like it's going to come down to those two games are in a very similar genre and it's going to
Hmm.
become a battle between those two.
Now you see, I see that point. I absolutely see that point. Because it's kind of like Alan Wake 2, Resident Evil 4, kind of like that survival horror type of aspect and stuff. Two of those type of games inside the same game of the year category. The reason why I thought Mario Wonder maybe went through and taken out of the game of the year contention stuff is because of the aspect that you don't not since like what was it 2017 I think it was. Did the Game of the Awards stuff back then like have Breath of the Wild and Gal and like
But
Odyssey?
yeah, Breath of the Wild and Odyssey were in there the same year. We also in 2020 we did have Last of Us Part 2, Final Fantasy 7, and Ghost of Tsushima, which
Oh
all
yeah.
three of those are PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah.
So it's not uncommon that this happens. I mean, it's rare, but it's also very rare that we get two top end games in the same year from a console maker. So
I the reason why I went with my choice here of like Alan Wake 2 being inserted inside of like say Mario Wonder's place is because I feel like they're going to aim more so because of how strong this game release stuff has been. that they're going to probably go with Zelda as a like for like the Nintendo representation. And I know it doesn't follow any type of patterns and stuff, but because of how much positive word of mouth has been going out, and also how the positive gameplay stuff for Alan Wake 2, and a lot of people that I've been reading, like say reading about thoughts and opinions online, saying this is probably one of the best survival horror games or something like
Yeah.
that. That some people like in that aspect. That's why I kind of feel like that at the Game Awards they're going to try to showcase Alan Wake 2 in some way,
Yeah.
whether or not be by taking out Mario Wonder or taking out Resident Evil 4 remake. Now, granted, this is tough. This is absolutely tough because every single one of these games inside this Game of the Year list, and also the games that we're probably going to try to interchange
The other
everything,
15
they could
games
have
that could be nominated that aren't. Yeah.
exactly. It had been any other game, like any other release year that wasn't as strong and stuff. These games would be inside this Game of the Year
Yeah.
contention. But yeah, that's my pick in that
Okay.
regards. They're going to go with Alan Wake 2 over Mario Wonder.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, my prediction is RE4 gets replaced with Alan Wake 2 because, like you said,
Okay.
it's a fan. People are saying it's one of the best. It's a game of the year. And I'll talk about it later. But yeah, it's considered a game of the year contender, and like I said, it's a survival horror game. Resident Evil 4, not technically, it's a weird in between shooters, action
Mm-hmm.
game and survival horror. I could see people like we don't want to they're gonna pick one or the other, so that's why I have that. But I guess we'll find out in about 12 hours whether or not well, I guess no, 13, I don't know, 13 hours, what fucking, I don't know, not time.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out then. But probably most people when they're watching this will already know the results. So yeah, it's not big, last chance to do an update there. I thought we should do that before we get into the
Okay.
topics. But Gables, before we
Yes.
also get in those topics, this is DrunkNerds Podcast. Every week, Gables and I get together and talk about all the video games and everything that's going on in the world of them. If you like all this, like our show, please like, follow, subscribe. We're every podcast service. We're on there: Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. Go to all those places. Like, follow, subscribe. Hit the thumbs up buttons. Leave the comments. Please do all that. Shares. Really would appreciate if you do all that for us. We're just two guys that just do this for fun. We have full-time jobs, and we just like getting together every week, talk about video games and everything that we love and hate about them. So without further ado, Gables, let's get into the things we hate about them.
Okay.
Nintendo is making a Zelda live-action movie, Gables. Let's get into it. That's right.
Okay.
Not only is Nintendo making a Zelda live-action movie, Sony is helping produce it. Gables, I hope to God that at some point Nintendo drops Sony and then hires Philip to help them finish this movie.
Oh my god, dude.
I want
There's only
nothing
going to be
more.
like there's going to be only a select few people are going to understand that.
It's a very niche joke, and
uh,
this is a very niche podcast.
that
So these
joke.
are, if you get
But
that joke, you're our people.
oh man, that would be funny. But it's just funny to me that Sony is actually helping out with 50% of the cost of that Zelda
Yeah,
movie.
Nintendo is paying for more than 50%, but yeah, it's close. It sounds like it's close to a 50-50 split here. But they're like, I
Yeah.
don't remember the exact word, but from what I understand, it's basically like they're like the publisher of, like, and it uses video game terms, like the publisher of the movie. They're gonna be the ones to help, probably do the marketing and put it in theaters and stuff like that. So, but yeah,
But then again, wasn't Sony the one that helped fund like the Mario movie as well?
the first one,
Yeah.
yeah, but that was pre-PlayStation, and they
Oh,
had that
okay.
they had that deal in place back then to make the Nintendo PlayStation. So
Oh, okay, okay. That does make sense though in that regards. But yeah, man, I'll tell you what. There are some concerns that come immediately to mind in regards to this live action Zelda movie. I mean, granted, there's just a few questions that I do have about it. I mean, one, is Link gonna talk? And if
he's got to.
so, yeah, at the same point, it's like, I mean, Mario was Mario. He talked some bits and stuff, but not like say long-term conversations. They went with Chris Pratt for the Mario movie and stuff. I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
I didn't think he was like absolutely fantastic over the ball and stuff like that. He was fine doing his role and stuff. He wasn't like say overly as annoying, or he wasn't as like somebody that I absolutely did not want to have words speak out of his mouth.
yeah, but also like
But
like that Mario movie being an animated movie and kids movie, like you didn't really need,
yes,
you don't have to have Chris Pratt as Mario carrying that movie because it was just like
no,
it's an ensemble cast of a lot of great other people. You have a ton of other characters that are
oh yeah,
very famous, and then you have all the Toads, and it's a kids movie, so you have like the Minions with and like there's all the fan service stuff in there that we love, and like ultimately came out in the movie was let's be honest, the movie was fine, but it was just like all the nostalgia shit that we love that make us really like that or love that movie, and
Well, exactly.
this is an entirely different
Exactly.
beast here. This is a live action movie. Um,
If I'm not mistaken, the director of this Zelda movie was one of the ones that responsible for another movie that certain people didn't like. I
so
forget.
I have the list here, Gables, of the key
Okay.
people that we know involved. Wes Ball, the
Yeah.
director. He's only ever directed the Maze Runner movies, which I believe are based off like a teen book series.
Okay.
So I heard the first one was pretty good, and the rest there's like 4 of them I think, and the rest are pretty bad. Um,
Okay.
but I imagine it's like kind of like in that um, Hunger Games, like Twilight kind of sphere of like those teen drama movies, stuff like that. The producer Avi Arod, I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Uh, Gables. He is
What?
mostly known for. I looked up his. I went on Wikipedia and looked up all their stuff they worked on. Everything he's worked on for Sony is all of the Sony Marvel movies. So we're talking like the old Daredevils. We're talking Craven the Hunter. We're talking the fucking Amazing Spider-Man movies here. We're talking
Okay.
Morbius Gables. Fucking Morbius was what he worked on. We're also talking the Borderlands movie that, yes, is still being made. They're on their 4th or 5th rewrites and reshooting of that movie. It's so bad that people are
Yikes.
taking their names off the credits of the movie. So that's to tell you where that movie's at. And then the writer of the movie, Derek Connolly, I believe I'm saying that correctly. He wrote
Mm-hmm.
the Jurassic World movies, which the first one is fun. It's fun. The next 2 are
Okay.
abortions. And then the last movie that I see he worked on, Gables, was fucking Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, the thing that destroyed the Star Wars franchise. He co-wrote.
Red flags are, dude.
It's not looking
He
great, Gables.
co-wrote that.
It's not looking great. It's not good. I'm very concerned. Like at least Illumination is like you can love or hate the Minions. I've never seen the movies, so I don't really know. I understand the annoyance of them. I get it, but it's like at least they're like they have successes. Um, of like people critically and financially, and it's like I guess some of these guys have critical and financial, but my God, just a list of pure garbage from I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know. Just being a live action. It's like I don't know. I'm just like Zelda's or Link's gonna have an annoying sidekick. Oh my God, what if it's Tingle Gables? What I didn't think about this. What if it's Tingle? What if Tingle's like the co-star in this movie? I take it back. I'm all in. Make Danny DeVito Tingle. I'm all in. Just go with it.
I'm already seeing all the AI artwork of Danny DeVito as Tingle, man, and let me just tell you, man, that's just some gold right
I need to
there.
see it. I don't give me the AI artwork. Fuck that. Give me the actual artwork. I want people to put an effort on this and make it happen. I want fucking TikToks of like Danny DeVito like clips out of this Always Sunny TV show in a Tingle uniform. I want that shit. That's what I want.
All you have to do is just like have him play his role as the troll underneath the bridge and
Yes.
stuff like that
Oh
as
my
Tingle.
God. This movie could be fantastic. So our good friend here, Shiggy, tweeted out. This is the tweet here. This is Miyamoto. I
Yeah,
just love
yeah,
every time he
I
does
understood
this.
who you were talking
Well,
about.
no, this is what he said verbatim in the tweet. It's fucking hilarious. This is Miyamoto. I've been working on the live action film of The Legend of Zelda for many years now with Avi Arad. He has produced many mega hit films. It will take time until its completion, but I hope you look forward to seeing it. Um, so yeah, that's a tweet there. Kind of came out also was the same day that Nintendo was doing their financial reports, so that's part of the reason probably why they did it. Uh, but yeah, look, I thought there was no chance in hell that the Mario movie was gonna be any good, and like I said, it was fine and it was very
Right,
successful.
right,
Made
right.
over made 1.2 billion dollars in theaters. Obviously, really helped with the sales of the video games. They had like a huge like a 30% boost in sales during that time on for the games. Probably on top of that merchandising. Um, I get it. This is where we're at now, where there's gonna be a million video game movies because as movie companies are trying to find the next big thing that they can base video make franchises out of or base they can make movies out of. Now they're seeing video games as a big uh, thing they can use it out. And we're seeing all kinds of TV shows popping
Oh
up
yeah.
and movies coming up now here for them. There's going to be a million. It's going to be like live service stuff where we're going to see a million dead bodies, but there's going to be a couple of successes that come out of it. And could be wrong. Could be, with, I do wonder though, like Shigeru Miyamoto is very protective of and can be kind of a curmudgeon about his IP and franchises. We've heard stories about, he was very mad about
Understandably.
Thousand Year Door because he didn't like the bomb in that game. Like we've heard him, like he's very very protective of his stuff for good or for worse. And I don't know. I don't know if him being involved will be good or bad. I imagine maybe it's more of like a like yay or nay kind of thing input from him. I just, man, I don't. I look at this and like I just think when I first heard about this, I thought it'll be a PG 13 PG, just stereotypical like a teen book series turned into a movie type thing. It's gonna be very. I don't think it'll be anything crazy. There'll be some cool nostalgia things in there that we might like, but I just don't see how. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how they're gonna turn this to like like. I'm not asking for Lord of the Rings here, but I don't know how they're gonna turn this into like a really good movie. I think it'll be a success because it's fucking Zelda. But I don't know. What about you, Gables?
Well, there were a couple things I was going to mention off the cuff right here. One, there are definitely alarm bells going on in my head after hearing that initial cast of the writers, the directors, and this and that. It is comforting for me, at least, to know that Shigeru Miyamoto is working closely
Hey, that's a
because
good
we've
point.
seen end results of what happens with directors and writers when they don't know their source material or know very little about it and try to create or TV show based upon that, and it ends up becoming one of the worst, absolute dreadful things to watch.
Don't you fucking say it, you son of a bitch. Don't you fucking talk bad about one of the greatest movies of all time, Super Mario Brothers from 1993.
Oh no 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 no
Okay,
no.
okay.
Oh no 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 no. That movie, in my honest opinion, is so bad it's good.
It's
That's
it's
what I
it's a
feel.
classic.
It's a classic to
Yes.
me. And obviously the other people too. I mean, hell, I love the scene where it's like, oh, Koopa sir, the Goombas are dancing again.
Mario had tickets to go to WrestleMania. That was fucking amazing.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, back then, I was more referring to such classics as The Last Airbender and
Remember the Monster
freaking
Hunter movie, Gables?
Dragon Ball Evolution, and also the Monster Hunter movie. Oh God, and especially the Resident Evil ones. Oh Jesus
Oh
criminy!
yeah, I didn't think about that. Uwe Ball.
Yeah, Uwe Boll at his absolute pinnacle with Blood Rain. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Hey, there's some hot lesbian action in some of those movies. It's very much 2000s. hey,
Oh my God. And
hey,
it's
in the
also
early
exactly
2000s,
like the.
when I was a teenage boy and there was no internet to be found, those movies are very important to me. Okay, leave me alone. Don't judge me, Gables.
I'm not going to judge you on that
You
type of
son of a
stuff,
bitch.
though. I mean, that's pretty much what a teenage boy back around the late 90s, early 2000s did anyway. But at the same time,
34-year-old boy too.
at the same. Fucking 34-year-old boys. Oh, God. But, no, man. No, man. It's like those type of movies back then and stuff. It's like, okay, it's like this is boring, and all of a sudden, oh, hey, this is actually some good stuff. Then it's like it's boring again. It's like, holy crap! It's like the shock factor, and then back to boring. That type of stuff. That's
Mm.
what I don't want happening to this live action Zelda movie. And when I think about it and stuff, I'm
So
glad
you don't think there'll be hot lesbian action in the Zelda movie?
dude, dude, it's gonna be a PG-13 film.
I don't even know if it'll be PG. You can have side boob in PG-13.
Well, you could technically, but it's gonna be PG-13 mostly because of violent stuff.
I hope we get
But
Goron side boob.
no, it's just gonna be full frontal. You're gonna go up to like the Death
Fuck
Mountain.
yeah!
Watch him go up to like Death Mountain or something as Link, and all of a sudden it's like he comes across like a bunch of the Gorons are rolling down the hill, a la Ocarina of Time and stuff, and he just hits, and all of a sudden they just stand up, and it's like jiggle, 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 jiggle.
I'm in.
Every time they step, they have to jiggle, and like everybody's just focused upon man boobs as it's like walking across the.
This is great. I'm all in for this, Gables. I'm actually in for this.
Oh, but if they are going to be going upon anything like story-wise with Zelda stuff, I would probably think it's going to either be the original Legend of Zelda or Ocarina of Time. That's what I personally think is going to be showcased.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, I think you're right. It's gonna be like Ocarina of Time will be like the loosely based off that story. But I mean, let's face it. Like, look, we all love Zelda.
Yeah,
It's not exactly the most creative story, and like the context of like it's like some of the shit in the story and the lore is very could be very cool, but the stories are very vanilla for the most part. So I feel like I don't know how they're gonna get, like I don't think we're gonna get a super creative story with like a ton of like like stuff you gotta like think about or like some like I don't think we're gonna be seeing some like awesome YouTube videos out there about like the context of some of these things. I think it'll be a very
mm, it all depends upon what type of Zelda story they're going to go with here, Tyler. I mean, I could argue though that there are definitely Zelda games that have strong story elements like Wind Waker and also Majora's Mask. They have deep, dark themes in regards, obviously, to
yeah.
Majora's
I just don't know
Mask.
how
But
deep
yeah,
those themes are gonna go. Is what I mean. I think it's gonna be very
right.
on the nose. Uh, Zelda needs saving. There's a big baddie named Ganon. Go to these three places. Go to these temples. Do this thing. Get a couple items.
Yeah.
Your best buddy Danny DeVito in a tingle suit is here to help. What if Danny DeVito was Navi instead? Oh my god. What if it's just like it's just
Hey,
Danny DeVito's head.
listen.
Hey, listen! And I started blasting people. I'm all in. I just don't even have to like have him come in. Just take clips of him from Always Sunny and then put them like just impose them into the movie, and I'm all in. You basically got a movie there.
You just see his body as a little like fairy or something, just ragdolling and stuff, and then just like, bing.
I'm all in. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. I'm being negative Nancy here. I hope it's good. I don't want it to be bad. I'm not rooting for this. I just live action. I think is gonna be the hard part. I don't. I'm happy they're not going the Illumination route again. I think Illumination is good for like Mario
Mm,
and stuff. I don't know if I want a Zelda Illumination movie because then we just get a million tingles and it's like one's enough. All right.
I will say this though, I'm very surprised they go live action route with the Legend of Zelda as opposed to say like going with it like say for Metroid. You know?
Yeah, Metroid would be. Oh man, I give me Metroid movie with the I can't think of her name. The actress from Captain Marvel. Cause
Oh God, Brie Larson.
yeah, because she'd be awesome. She's been wanting to play uh, Samus for years now, so I think she'd be pretty
You know
great.
what have dude? You want to know who would have made an excellent Samus if she was actually like say, younger now as opposed to when it was back in the '80s? Sigourney Weaver.
That makes sense. I mean, they basically, I mean, yeah, the villain is based off
Yeah,
like Shiggy's a big
of the
fan of
aliens.
yeah Metroid or Alien, so that makes sense. No, I think Brie Larson would be a fun Samus. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
As long as I'll tell you what, man. As long as they don't put Link like as like Tom Holland or some shit, I'll be
yeah,
fine
that's
with it.
been I've been enjoying the memes of Tom Holland with Zelda ears. Um, yeah, I did like people were saying Hunter Schafer. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't.
She's from Euphoria, and I think she's in the new Hunger Game movie. I think it is like the Mocking. I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about Hunger Games really. I've only ever seen the first movie, but she's in Euphoria. She's awesome in that show. She looks
Okay.
just like fucking Zelda, and she's a really good actress.
Hmm.
Put her in the fucking movie. I'm all in. She already said she's in. I'm in. So let's do that. But yeah, I don't know. I almost would rather for Link they just cast like a no name person, you know.
That's what I want
Yeah, instead.
personally.
Yeah, instead of like trying to get a big name in there. But we'll have to wait and see, Gables. It's just I think this can be a long way. I cannot wait for the Nintendo Direct though when they announce all the people in the TV show. It's gonna be a very fun time. So
Yeah, it's gonna be probably a barrel of laughs, just like what it was with the Mario Cast
yeah,
reveal.
if anything, we'll have that. Like we'll always have the Nintendo announcing the voice actors for the Mario movie,
I
and
think one of my favorite moments with I think with you and stuff, we were like reacting to like the cast reveal. I think it was.
I nearly killed me. Should give the content warning next time for that. Um, next up, Gables. Somebody did give us a content warning. Uh,
Oh,
Sam Hauser from Rockstar did announce that we're getting a GTA 6 trailer reveal next month. So in December, they're
hmm.
celebrating their 25th anniversary of Rockstar, which is crazy
Okay.
to think that
It is.
they came out. It's been 25 years, but the fact that they put out um, GTA 3, Vice City, and I'm missing one in there. San Andreas.
San Andreas.
Yeah, in like a matter of like 5 years. They put
Yes, they
out
did.
like within 5 years being created, they put out maybe the most genre, like to this day we're still feeling the effects of the GTA video games, that trilogy from the PS2. Um, but yeah, so they said for the celebrate 25 years of Rockstar, they're gonna reveal um, GTA 6. I imagine it's gonna probably just be a teaser trailer, maybe introducing the characters. What does kind of suck
Yeah.
though is like, so there's been a lot of leaks and rumors that we've heard about it with the it's gonna be like a, I forgot the name of the like the famous story, like the movie of like the couple that robs people. I can't think of the name of them.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes, it's like a Bonnie and Clyde type thing where, uh, in Miami, um, or Vice City rather, I guess, it's taking place there. But we've had the rumors and stuff, everything going on for a while now. It kind of sucks is the giant like leaks came out with like all the game content, so we basically already have seen like we obviously like we've seen the early stuff of it, but we've got the general idea of like we've already know the characters. We know we've seen the characters. We know the character who the characters are.
Right.
We've seen some of the stuff on the map, stuff like that. That huge leak last year, I believe it was. So it kind of takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails, but still, exciting. This is like these these moments don't happen very often
No.
in gaming. Where like there's big moments in like our world of gaming. Like we look for the Game Awards, like E3, Summer Game Fest, Nintendo Direct, stuff like that. We have moments like that, and sometimes some big reveals. But like this is like this. I mean, like we used to talk about like
This is an
yeah,
event.
like we talk about back in the day, like the 360, like in the 2000s and shit, when like the new Call of Duty or Halo 3. Remember, like we talk about those like when Halo 3 came out, the next Gears came out, the next Call of Duty came out, like those big Mass Effect 2 coming out was like huge, like that was a fucking holiday for people. And it's like now there's so many big
Mm-hmm.
games that come out nowadays, and the way the news churns, like nothing is sticks really. And I this fucking feels like like I'm not even a GTA guy. I like the one Rockstar game I love is Boldy, but I played all the GTA games, but I think I beat Vice City way back when. But like,
Yeah, and I do get some flack for this, but the one really GTA game I really liked though was GTA
oh, I
4.
thought you were gonna say two or something. I didn't.
Oh no 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 no
No,
no no
I
no no no! I've seen GTA like the original and GTA 2. I cannot.
no,
I
no,
do not want to play
no,
those.
God no. Uh, yeah, no, I actively hated GTA 4. I was so excited for that game too, and I was like, the fourth time Cuzzy called me to go fucking play bowling. I was like, I'm done. I'm out. But yeah. So, but it's
uh,
so exciting. It's exciting, like as just like it's exciting. Look forward to this. I'm excited for the people that are excited for this. I'm like I'm curious to see what the fuck this thing is gonna be. Like, I don't think we're gonna see too much. I'd be shocked if we got gameplay for this, honestly. But or like it might be like a couple like quick like boom snap 2 second clips here and there. Um, but I'm excited for these people, and I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm excited to see what does a GTA look like, in the 2020s. Like you look at where GTA 5 was in 2013 when that came out. The landscape is entirely different now. In gaming, this is like pre-live service. This is like, you know, the GTA Online was like where does that become a thing now? Like, where do they go? Like, do they like are they like I don't know. I'm excited to see what they do with it. And they always like I was listening to I remember like they did an interview Sam Hauser did about the next GTA, and they're talking about like the comedy and everything. How's that going to work? And they said the biggest thing is like, you know, they do parodies of they're like their games are parodies of America. And it's like we're already kind of in a
yeah,
parody of America right now. So it's like how do you? It's like you always see people trying to like. I think it was the South Park guy said like Trump
the
killed
Pandaverse.
Trump killed comedy because it's like you can't really like you can't make fun of like it was so easy to make jokes about the president and stuff like that. And it's like you can't really outdo Trump, and like because like as far as jokes and stuff go, and like outdo that. Like it's like everything is just a parody of a parody now. And it's like the way the internet
Right.
now is. How is that going to work? Um, so yeah, like I'm curious how it's going to work out. But I don't know. I'm excited to see, like what this game looks like, and like potentially I'm excited to see the reaction to this, and like not the like disgusting internet way, but just like the hype and the love, like exciting, like just the excitingness of people how they're going to get for this one. What about you, Gables?
I feel like when they do showcase this, they don't have to really showcase this at the Game Awards. I mean, they could just do an independent like day or something like that, release a trailer
Yeah,
like in the morning or whatsoever.
yeah,
Everyone on the internet just loses their shit and stuff. It's probably going to be like some sort of 2 or 3 minute trailer. You're going to see a sign. You're going to see a little bit of the locale, maybe meet the characters in that regards, but it's going to be like a teaser, and then probably we won't see anything more about it
yeah.
until like June.
Yeah, I think I'll bet money at the end it says 2024. Maybe has a holiday release date or something like that, and then it gets delayed to 2025. Is what I think.
You
Um,
got to think about that. Yeah, it's probably going to be not coming out until like
yeah,
2025.
I will say though, I hope if it's not a Game Awards, they say something for Jeff Keighley, for his sanity. I know people like want to talk shit about Jeff Keighley. I like the Game Awards. I like Summer Game Fest. You know,
Well,
I get
yeah.
the problems, but overall I still think they're good for the industry, and we fucking enjoy watching them and stuff and consuming them. But I worry for that man. If like everybody goes there to
Mhm.
watch it and it's not there, people will be pissed. Because the other thing I was thinking of, if it's not there, um, I think it will be at the NBA in-season tournament finals, or 2 days later, and it could be there. You're gonna have a
That's
huge
true
audience. You're gonna
too.
have probably close to 10 million people
Well,
watching that game. It's gonna be on. I think it's gonna be on ABC or ESPN. Probably both.
it would make sense. It would actually make sense if it was like during like the NFL stuff because there's more eyes upon it than say like the NBA in tournament like say final stuff in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I
But
mean, I guess they could do like
I
a.
do agree with you though. It's probably going to be like possibly dropped like on like during a sporting event, like during a sporting event or something like that, going to commercial breaks and all of a sudden, hey, this is GTA 6.
Yeah, and it won't. And like normally you pay like advertisers pay money to be on for on events and be on television. I bet there's people out there that would probably pay money to like, hey, give us the reveal. We can advertise the fuck out of this, and
Oh
people
yeah,
will watch. Hey, at the end of the first quarter or halftime or whenever, we're gonna have the GTA 6 reveal, and people will probably pay them money or like, hey, here, just do it for free, and you got millions of people are gonna watch your shit. Imagine if it's Sunday Night Football, 30 million people watching the fucking thing, 30 million on
oh
average,
yeah,
maybe
dude.
40 million people watch that fucking
That
thing.
or even during Monday night,
Yeah,
it's like during those football games where there's a lot of eyes and stuff.
yeah,
Routinely, man, I think it's going to be like during a Monday night game or something like that, like close to halftime or something, and all of a sudden we get this trailer dropped with all these millions of people looking. It's like, oh wow, that's the new GTA. Oh
yeah.
great.
I was just thinking basketball because I believe they've had a history of like doing stuff in the past with like video games and like advertising. They've done it a couple times
Hmm.
with, like Call of Duty and stuff like that. So could be wrong, but I think they've done that a few times in the past. Like
Right.
that's kind of what I was thinking of. And also like NBA is trying to do in the first year of their NBA in season tournament be a good way to like get even more eyeballs on this thing. It's in Vegas,
Right.
so like they probably want to go big and like, hey, we got G on top of that. You're gonna have this in season tournament final, and on top of that, hey, it's in Vegas, and we got GTA for you. So I can see them doing that. Yeah, it'd be pretty. I think I don't know. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see what happens. But I think till then it's just a matter of the waiting game, and then like I said, for Keely's case, if it's not gonna happen before the Game Awards, just fucking say it's not gonna be there for everybody's sanity. Like I don't
Oh
think.
yeah, no shit,
Yeah,
dude. If he doesn't say anything and people don't see it out there, they're gonna be losing
yeah.
their
Like
shit.
I think Keeley probably won't because like he like knows that's probably like more eyeballs are gonna watch a show, but also it's just
Hmm.
but also it's the internet. You got to take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But um, let's move on here though, Gables, to Mass Effect Gables. We got a teaser trailer for N7 Day, 35-second teaser.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
showed looked like a woman with the helmet on and like a long coat walking down the hallway with like a pistol. Some people were thinking it's FemShep. Some people were saying it looks like Liara. I think it kind of looks like Liara. Um, but 35-second teaser trailer, nothing more to it other than that. Obviously, on 7 Day, it's like it's kind of like Mass Effect Holiday. Every year we usually get
Yeah.
something for it, but it's kind of like The Last of Us Day we have, where it's like sometimes it's just like some years they have like they drop The Last of Us TV show trailer. Some year or it's like a trailer for the next game, but a lot of years it's just like, hey, here's some artwork that we have, and then maybe like a slight update on something. But usually it's like
Right.
it's just more merchandising stuff, which they did do there's a $45 poster you can buy of this woman um, from this trailer. But Jeff Keighley did have a report about this, that apparently Mass Effect. So Mass Effect was revealed, I believe, at Game Awards 2020. I know it was 2020. I can't remember if it was Game Awards or if it was Summer Game Fest or E3, what the fuck it was called. But this game probably isn't going to come until 2029, Gables.
Oh, excuse me?
Yes. So kind of thing he was talking about was it's kind of like they have a similar timeline in mind. They revealed Dragon Age Dreadwolf in 2018, I believe at E3. Yeah. We've had some updates and stuff, but we still have not actually seen gameplay of this game. We've seen some artwork, we've seen some teaser trailers, stuff like that. This game is, as of right now, they're hoping to get it out this year. It's been internally delayed. It's probably going to be more likely a late summer fall game next year, possibly early 2025. BioWare is still, so Mass Effect is still in early production, like pre-production. But they had the layoffs earlier this year and they cut a lot of the staff. So more staff that was working on Mass Effect has been pulled over to finish Dragon Age, and then we'll go over to Mass Effect. So we're talking about Mass Effect won't be even full production until probably 2025.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, I've seen a lot of, like, obviously it's like, you know, I do a decent job of like staying on the negativity of Twitter, but sometimes you see stuff bubble up. Like, it sucks. Like, look, I love Mass Effect. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time. Even though like 3 was still great, but it was disappointing overall in the end. Andromeda was obviously broken and buggy, but even like going back and playing the game once it was like actually done, as done as it's going to be, it was just an ultimately disappointing game. And it sounds, you know, we've heard the stories about how, like, you know, how bad the environment was and the work, the work, how things were just internally there. That kind of came out to that game just turning out what it was. I'm not like, it's not like I'm mad. Like it's definitely disappointing. Kind of like takes the wind out of your sails kind of thing, where it's like not mad at anybody. I just like, man, 2029. Like, we'll be in our 40s when the next Mass Effect comes out.
I know.
So
that's part of the reason why I'm just thinking ahead right here. It's like possibly by 2029 we're not going to see another Mass Effect game. It's a shame, but at the same point, I can understand why it's being delayed up until that point.
well, it's not even a delay. This was just the timeline.
Well, yeah, that's just the timeline in of itself. It's not even been like remotely delayed or whatsoever. So it does have the possibility of being pushed out even further. But it's like, it's just the fact that so much turnover over at EA and stuff, and their main focus of trying to get this new Dragon Age out. You know, Dreadwolf with God, something that you touched upon as well. That thing was announced in 2018. It's now 2023, and they need to try to put out this game to try to tide people over up until hopefully the new Mass Effect and stuff when that gets made and put out and stuff. But yeah, it doesn't really paint everything really in a positive light right at this moment, because what if Dragon Age Dreadwolf is not a good game? Like, what if they push it out and it's in a broken state, or if it's like things like that? I mean, you got to take that into accountability too. But it could also be like, say, a decent game. I mean, I'll reserve some positivity stuff until I actually see it, and then once we do see the initial reveal of it, I mean, we're gonna react to it. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. And we've heard, like, I think part of the problem too is Dragon Age has been in such a long development cycle because there's been the stories coming out from Jake Schreier and Jeff Grubb about how, you know, a lot of the issues that Bioware has had is since they got bought by EA, they've been forcing them to use the Frostbite engine, which is like the engine that was created for what's the Battlefield engine. And they've been like forcing like all their studios to make games in this engine. In the last like 3 or 4 years now, they've kind of gone back on that now because they realized it was great for like Battlefield, but it was bad for all the other games. And like it was fine for like the racing games like Need for Speed and stuff like that, but like everything else they're trying to put out struggled in this engine. And that's like we've seen like, you know, the faces and like Mass Effect and like the weird animations and stuff like that. Like that was huge problem of it, and the platforming stuff like that. But we also heard about like when they originally made Dragon Age, when they started making Dragon Age 4, now Dreadwolf. There were some of that making them make it in the Frostbite engine, but also we're gonna make it a live service game and like have multiplayer stuff like that. EA since the last few years went back on that, and then they
Right.
switched. So they had to switch engines and then totally change up. Like, luckily, it was early enough in development. It sounds like that like this. But that was part of the problem. Is like it was a different engine. EA was making them make it a entirely different style game, and now they're like, no, like they're letting Bioware hopefully be Bioware, but also it's like think about like it's been over a decade since Mass Effect 3. It's been 9 years since Dragon Age. Um, how many of those people that were there when it was Bioware are still there? You know, and you know, the two doctors that were there during the heydays of Bioware are gone. Casey Hudson was left, came back, and is gone again.
Yep.
So it's I don't know. Let's wait and see. Like I said, it sucks. Like it's kind of like it was like it kind of got me like excited again. Like I was like getting all excited. I was like about Mass Effect again, even though I knew it was still years away. I just didn't realize it was that many years away. And kind of I don't know. It just kind of takes the wind out of the sail. But like I do think though that we talk about the last few years, like 2020, 2021, all these studios announcing these games. Like I would always talk about like the moment they were like approved in a board meeting, they would like fucking announce these games are being made, and they were doing that to bring people into their studios because they were trying to like hire up like
Yes.
crazy. And now we've seen all these layoffs in the last year, and I do wonder like they announced all these games early to get those people, and now they're laying them off. I do think to find the tiniest little sliver of a silver lining in the mass of all these layoffs and everything awful going on, like working in games, um, that maybe this will stop. Never, not 100%. There'll still be people out there. Well, maybe like people will stop announcing games so early because it's like, what's the benefit of announcing a game that's 7 to 10 years away?
There
And
really
that's
isn't any benefit to it at all.
yeah. Um, so yeah, because you got a lot of people that know the game got announced, but they don't read articles, they don't pay attention to gaming news, and it's like, fuck man, it's been like 3 years. Where the fuck's this game out? What are you doing? And there's gonna be people out there like that don't know any better. So, yeah, let's hope though that hopefully everything's going great there, and I hope Dragon Age Dreadwolf is fantastic. But yeah, let's talk about fucking WB and live service games.
Okay.
So David Zaslav, who is the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery,
Oh yeah.
um, the guy that called CM Punk the One Bill Phil, that aged well. Um, he um, he said in the recent financial report for Warner Brothers Discovery that they still see live service games and like as kind of a key business indicator for them. Exactly what he said here. Our focus is on transforming our biggest franchises from largely console and PC based, with 3 or 4 release scheduled into to include more always-on gameplay through live services, multi-platform, and free-to-play extensions, with the goal to have more players spending more time on more platforms. Ultimately, we want to drive engagement and monetization of longer cycles at higher levels. We have put specific capabilities. We are currently under scale. And see significant opportunity to generate greater post-purchase revenue. Um, David Zaslav is an idiot. Um, he's just kind of a guy. I don't know if he's an idiot. Obviously, he's a very smart man because he's the CEO of a company that's worth billions of dollars. But he just kind of says shit in these meetings. I don't know if he knows what he's saying when he says it. Last year, he was like pushing like metaverse and NFTs. The last the previous quarter we had, he announced Mortal Kombat months before it was supposed to be revealed. That kind of pissed off everybody at NetherRealm. Just kind of announced it. Obviously a lot of things, a lot of bad issues going on in Warner Brother. Like the whole AT&T merger really fucked them up, and now they were like billions of dollars in debt. Merged with Discovery, and now they're just trying to do everything they can to stop the bleeding. They finished the Batgirl movie. They finished that John Cena Wile E. Coyote movie that apparently is fantastic. That people got to see it. They're not putting them out now, so they get a tax break on that. What the fuck? Yep. How is that a okay thing to do? This is a company that's in kind of disarray right now, and I think they're just saying shit to kind of keep the stock up. But if this is true, man, do you not understand anything about your video games? We looked at Gotham Knight last year. Complete and utter failure. That was a game that was supposed to be a live service game that somewhere in the middle of production they pivoted to take the live service shit out of it, and we ended up getting this half in, half out live service online game.
Yep.
You look at fucking Hogwarts Legacy, one of the highest reviewed games of the year, the best selling game as of right now. Obviously, we don't know. Call of Duty's out now, so it's probably number 2 now. But one of the best selling games of the year, and Hogwarts
Mhm.
Legacy. It's a single player game.
Yeah,
People love it. You like if you just make a good game based off your IPs, people will come. It's
absolutely.
not 1,000% of the time, but most of the time, if it's a popular franchise and you just make a good game out of it, people will play your fucking game. You look at fucking what's the multiverses? I mean, that game was out, and then they said, "Oh, actually, it was in beta this whole time, even though we charged money for it, and then we're just taking it away." Uh, you look at Suicide Squad. That game is a fucking mess, and that's supposed to come out. Gables, that game's coming out in like 2 months. Did you know that? That game's like two
I
months
forgot
away.
about that actually.
Yes, that game's coming out in 2 months, and we know all the bullshit going on with that game. Um, there's that Wonder Woman game that's being made by the Shadow Mordor team. Obviously, we see like they like to shoe in a lot of microtransactions into like the Mortal Kombat games,
Oh yeah.
and like the War Mordor, the second game of that franchise.
Oh yeah.
Like they totally redid the entire game to shoe in a fuck ton of unnecessary microtransactions. Um,
Yes.
but man, do you just don't understand this field, my dude? Like, but I don't know. I think it's like, oh, these are buzzwords that we can say that people will like to hear, and that's just, I don't know. Give us how you feel about this one.
All right. To put in perspective how I feel about this, I try to think of why David Zaslav was hired in to begin with and stuff, and that was to stop the bleeding of a bunch of the losses that WB was going through and experiencing at the time, and is still going through that.
Yeah,
Hence why he's done a lot of cutbacks and stuff. I mean, I'm not defending this man at all. I mean, he's a businessman first and foremost. He is definitely a penny pincher. He is definitely someone that will cut corners in that regard to save some bit of cash. I mean, obviously with the cancellation of movies like say the Wile E. Coyote John Cena thing, and also the Batgirl stuff. And also, I mean, his statements right here are kind of telling, because it's like he wants to try to recoup anything in terms of cost and stuff, and so he's still gung ho about like the live service, always online sort of games and stuff, even though in the even over the past year and stuff, he's had to either take out microtransactions inside of one of the video games or something like that, or even go back to like have the things reworked. Talking about like the Suicide Squad game and also the Gotham Knights game and stuff, but multiverses as well. I mean, they initially, like we've touched upon before and we've spoken about before, that game was not ready for the success it was getting and stuff, and so they're re-releasing that for the next year,
maybe.
possibly.
Yeah,
But I really don't agree with the statements, obviously, because I look at a lot of the negative reactions that have been going around, not just with the live service games going on right now, and the trend of gaming is obviously drifting down because all these live service games that the companies thought were once profitable or maybe a surefire thing, like them copying, emulating the whole Fortnite model and stuff, has slowly started to take a downturn to where all these people release their games. They're not lasting more than a year or barely even that. But when it comes to like the game stuff, I mean, let's look at one of the more recent releases from WB, Mortal Kombat 1. You see like a lot of like little microtransaction stuff like that, including like $12 character skins
yeah. Or
inside of their
they had
damn
a
thing.
$12 like a Halloween themed
Fatality.
fatality. Yeah,
Yeah, you think your players are not going to notice something like that because this is the most egregious things and stuff that they have been putting across as of late. But at the end of the day, it's like it's awfully telling that they're doing probably like WB themselves are doing like the most like bare bones type of thing in order to try to recoup any type of costs. So like with the live service stuff, with like the microtransactions, kind of like the same thing every other company has been trying to do in the gaming industry now for like almost the past what 5 6 years or so. But yeah, I don't like it. I think that was very bold and also very stupid of him to go forth and say we're going to be focusing upon this within the next year, even with the entire landscape around him slowly shifting out of that type of model, including like say even big companies like Sony having to go through and delay like half of their game
yeah.
stuff that
Six
they're going to
games
be
over a year.
six
Yeah,
games.
live
over
service
the
games.
past,
Yeah.
yeah, these 6 live service games that were talked about and simultaneously, maybe not even announced or something like that, but still, they're going to be reworking them because of how everything's changing.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think sometimes, like a lot of times, they just throw out buzzwords that they don't actually mean, just to like make
Right,
the shareholders. Honestly, I'm just gonna say shareholders mostly are idiots and they don't really know the thing that they're actually investing in. They don't know the background behind it. They just hear these other terms
right,
that other people are saying, so they just throw out these words that people know. And like, oh, like, we know that thing. People do that thing and they're successful. Or we know about Fortnite. Yeah, do a Fortnite. So they say these things, get people excited, and then the stock won't be like it's kind of so kind of like Rockstar. Um,
yeah,
with when they announced this, Take Two was doing their um, financial report that day, and it wasn't like they're not in a rough state, but they're losing money right now, but they're spending a
yes,
fuck ton of money on projects and not a lot's coming out for them because but they they're waiting on GTA right now. So they announced it'd be right before they're doing the financial report that they're revealing GTA next month. So
hmm,
guess what? The stock, even despite them actually having a down quarter, went up. So I think
yep,
that's a lot of what it is. You look at like um, what was it? Oh, Saudi Arabia invested money in a PFL, is a UFC competitor. Because of that, stockholders, even though PFL is a nothing, it is a very not nothing, but is a very small, very minute scale of MMA fighting. They
right,
invested money into them. Shareholders went nuts. UFC's the TKO UFC WWE uh, shares went way like down like 17%
right,
because Saudi Arabia invested money in this tiny promotion that is
hmm,
barely a competitor to the UFC. It's shit like that. Like they don't, I don't know. They just hear buzz. They like buzzwords, and that's what they got. Um, but also, David Zaslav's claim to fame right now is that he took the name of HBO Max. He took HBO out of off the name, and now it's just called Max. So the biggest IP that they own, HBO, they took the name off of their the most important service they have. So maybe not the best guy in the world for what he's doing here. We're gonna skip the last topic here, Gables, because we're going a little long here. We're just gonna go right to some other
okay,
news this week. So a couple, some a lot of stuff here, but some smaller stuff here. Silent Hill 2. Uh, Best Buy put a date out, put it on their website with a release date of March 21st. They took it down, obviously. They left the pre-order up, but they took the date off it. So take that with a grain of salt. But that's it does sound like it's coming out next year, and that could be a potential release date. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC Pack 2 is coming out December 14th.
yep.
Um, I don't know, Gables, how you feel about that one?
I'm gonna be going through and buying the expansion stuff because I that was the one initially interested in wanting to play more so than say the Teal Mask and stuff. I wanted to try to play the second expansion,
Okay.
though fully knowing that I have to play through the Teal Mask in order to get to the other expansion. So I'm like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's good.
yes,
Ubisoft laid off 124 people, I believe, and also announced in their financial report that they are still interested in NFTs. So take that for what? Yeah, right. At the end of 2023, Gables, we're still NFTs are still a thing. Game Award nominees, like we talked about at the top of the show, will be going up in the morning.
yes,
Embracer Group apparently is going to close the Time Splitter studio. Free. Oh, I just forgot the name. Free Radical. Yeah, Free Radical Design. Sorry.
okay,
They announced that
wow,
it sounds like they're going to get shut down. They literally just reopened this studio 2 years ago to make the Time Splitter games. Um, and because of everything going on with Embracer Group, um, sounds like more people are going to get laid off. And
Shit.
that the Time Splitter, revival is not going to happen, which is just awful. Um,
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a sacrifice in that regards.
yeah, especially when you created a new studio and hired a bunch of people and then lay them off 2 years later. So pretty fucked up. And it's just bullshit because a bunch of people now don't know how they're going to pay rent tomorrow. But the people that um, with a bunch of money, they just lay people off and they're going to be totally fine. Sometimes I see this shit and I'm like, how is this okay? How are we
How's
able?
this even legal?
Yeah,
Like some of them, even like with the whole Bungie situation, to where they lay off these people and stuff like a day before, like say their health insurance things
Yeah,
expire.
and
You know.
they take away, they lose all their Sony shares that were just
Yep.
months away from being vested. And they get to keep them. They just get to keep the money now. Yeah, sometimes yeah, it's pretty fucked up. And then Braid Anniversary, which was announced like 3 years ago, is
Yeah.
coming out April 30th.
Oh.
So yeah, that's coming out. I'm actually a little excited for them. They totally redid the artwork on this one, and they actually he has like Jonathan Blow did like I guess it was like 15 hours of commentary on this about like kind of game design stuff. Normally I think this is kind of cool, but I just don't want to listen to that man talk for more than like 12 seconds. So more power to you if that's something you're interested in. But I will pass on that part. I'll gladly play this game because I think he makes great games. But I will pass on the part where I like to listen to him talk. So yeah, pretty exciting there. It's maybe one of the most important indie games of all time. Because that totally, I mean, he didn't create indie games, but that was like, I think the game that kind of really put eyeballs, especially on the console market, of like, kind of really changes the way we look at indie games in a way. So
It
yeah.
was definitely one of the pieces, obviously, with the whole like
I see
summer.
what you did there. Yeah.
It was part of the pieces and stuff with the whole summer of the Xbox like
Summer of
arcade
Arcade.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that alongside Castle Crashers, alongside of like other games at the time, that's what
Yeah. Limbo.
ultimately led to the big old Limbo and stuff, led to the whole indie boom, the start of the indie boom.
Yeah. That was a great time. He's got like one big indie game every week in the summer for like 6 weeks. Oh man, what a great time.
And it was like maybe like $10 max.
Yeah, they're like 10, $15. Oh my God. Oh, they were awesome. Um, man, what a great time. Like it's better now. We get so many great games like all the time now. But like,
Yeah.
but back then, like the summer when you were just starving for anything to play, it's like, hey, we're just going to give you a great indie game every week for like 6 weeks in like June and July. And it was just like, just, it was amazing. It was just, it was a water bottle in the desert back then in gaming. So,
Absolutely.
um, yeah. Gables, let's move on to what we've been playing here. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first, buddy?
No, go ahead and you go first, Tyler.
All right. So I have played a few games here. I'll start with the big one here. I did finish Alan Wake 2.
Good.
Yeah, so I started playing it on Sunday. It took me probably 18-ish hours to beat. Um, Fairly a lot longer than I thought it would be. But it's especially for a survival horror game, usually they're like 10 to 15 hours, sometimes shorter. Like Resident Evil games are shorter. But I get it, Gables. I totally get why people are saying this is their game of the year. I don't know if it's mine. It'll probably be on my list. Spoiler alert for that one. I don't know if I'd put it in that category, like in like the top end contenders. But man, I think this game it's absolutely fantastic. Um,
Hmm.
like so, I really liked Alan Wake. I'm a huge fan of the Remedy games. I loved Alan Wake back in the day, despite its issue. I didn't love the gameplay, but I was like, man, it's so different than anything we're playing in gaming. Back then, and especially back then, and still today, it's still totally different than anything we play. But back then we didn't have anything nearly like that. So, um, but yeah, like totally just blown away by like the visuals, um, the art, fucking the gameplay is really really good. Like they basically just kind of took the Resident Evil 2, like they put like they definitely could tell they played Resident Evil 2, and then like what if we just make Alan Wake 2 with the Resident Evil 2 combat, and they did that, and it's amazing
Huh.
for it. I don't It plays really well. It they do tension like no fucking other. Like just like sound effects, the music, just the way the wind sometimes flows, like just like little like jump scares that they do with you. This game isn't overly terrifying, but man, it is suspenseful as fuck, and they just know dread because that's what you feel the entire time. It's just dread. Oh my god, I just thought about the fact that if the RoboCop development team made a Judge Dredd game, it'd be fucking rule. Anyways, back to Alan Wake 2. Sorry, I just got really excited about that. But so in this game you play, there's Saga Anderson, who's an FBI agent. It actually takes place in 2023, which is kind of cool because like it does like like Alan Wake came out in 2010, and it's like Alan Wake and like all these other characters that like disappeared in like 2010. They refer to him like, hey, you've been gone for like 13 years, shit like that. But like he plays Saga Anderson, who's an FBI agent, and then also plays Alan Wake, so you can like jump back and forth. What's cool though is you can actually play. They have their own. It's kind of like Resident Evil, where like you play as them from different parts, but they actually have like full blown, totally different campaigns. But you have to you can play them all. There is a point of no return eventually in the game, and you can play each character all the way up until you get to that point of no return. So you can do all of Saga's story up to that point. You can do all of Alan Wake's up to that point. I was going back and forth. I'd do like a chapter and go jump back to the next person, do a chapter, go back to the next person. But anyways, it's like I would say like Saga Anderson though is kind of more like that one's definitely a little more actiony, whereas Alan's is more survival horror because he's like his is like in the dark presence, which is like a dark world, where like at the end of the first game he gets trapped in this dark world, and there's like this evil doppelganger named Scratch, that's doing like terrible things as him, and it's really just about him trying to get out. And like Saga is like this FBI agent who's there to like go back to Bright Falls to investigate these murders, and along the way she's like keeps like in a way I don't want to spoil stuff about the story because like really I mean honestly more than anything it's the story and like everything everything about this like the events that unfold in this game that make this game more so than anything else. And it's just about them, Alan trying to get out of this, her trying to solve these murders, but also trying to stop, like help Alan Wake, stuff like that. But like I said, the gameplay, the suspense, everything about this game is absolutely fantastic. The voice acting is fantastic. The characters in this world are fantastic. The live action shit in this game is fantastic. I said I love the Remedy games. I actually like I think I was the only I might be the only Quantum Break staying out there. I don't think the game is great, but I think that game is so much better than it actually like people it doesn't get enough credit for what the game is. Control was phenomenal, but my frustration was I played the game at launch and it just was not. It needed a little more time. There was some issues with that game when it launched. Other than that, though, the quality was great. And man, but like some of the shit that's like they go some crazy elements in this game. I don't want to spoil like where they go with some of these like crazy events that like they just do some weird shit in Alan Wake 2. But it's like Remedy is just that they have the goodwill of it, and they consistently like they nail everything else that like you are willing to go with these weird fucking things that they do that make like why is this here, but you don't care because they're so great at everything else that you just go with it. And it's like I'm already here, and like let's fucking go. Like, this is amazing. And it's yeah it's hard to talk without spoiling it, but it's man when there's a chapter with Alan Wake when you get there you will know what the fuck I'm talking about, and it was the coolest fucking thing in this and maybe gaming I've done this year. But
It definitely does sound like from what you're describing to me, it kind of sounds sort of David Lynch-esque in
yes,
sort of like
exactly.
some bits of like design and also in terms of appeal. The only thing I could really compare to what you're telling me right now is like some of the story elements and some of the features in terms of the show Twin Peaks,
Which is kind of what
because
Alan Wake is based off of Twin Peaks. So that totally makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
sounds like right up my alley.
yeah, and like it does. It is like this is like this isn't a spoiler. It's like kind of known that Control and Alan Wake take place in the same universe.
Yep.
Um, so like there are some things that are connected between there's characters that pop up in this game that are in Control. There's elements that are like we learned about in Control that are in this as well. And you could find like notes and manuscripts stuff like that are along the way um, that kind of like you can find more details about like the FPC stuff like that. But yeah, anyways, like I think this game is great. I love this game. This game is phenomenal. I basically just played it all day yesterday because I was like, I just started playing it and I stopped for a few hours watching football and I went right back to it and just finished it. Like I could not stop playing this game. It's just like once I played it, it was just like this is not a game I wanted to play for like an hour. This is a game I'm gonna play this game, and then 3 hours are gone. This is like I love like I did not want to stop playing this game because I was loving it so much. I do have some frustration parts that kind of like take it kind of a tier down maybe from like all time game of the year contender to like really great game still like a 9 out of fucking 10. But like man, like this type of year though, it's like that's the shit that makes the difference. For like to me like this is a survival horror game. I was getting really frustrated with like enemies with like random respawn, or like you go back to an area, like you would fight
Right.
these enemies, you leave that, you come like not even like leave the whole area, but like you just go like 50 feet that way, and you realize you missed a collectible. I want to go back and do this. Like there's stashes you can find in the Saga universe and her campaign that have like very important items in there. Like you can like obviously because it's survival horror, items are limited, so you want to find these things. And but like there's like rhyme things you get, like you can get charms you can add so like they give her boosts and benefits and stuff like that. But like I like fight these people here. I start wandering that way. I'm like, oh shit, I realize I missed it. I go back, and like I'm talking like a minute that way and a minute back, and those enemies I fought are now back. And it's like, man, it's like it just kind of made me not want to like. It's not like these aren't huge worlds. Like they're pretty small areas over like decent size, but they're not like it's not fucking Assassin's Creed here or anything like that. But what do you expect from like a survival horror style game? It's a decent size area, and but like it totally made me not want to like explore and go get these collectibles because like I was doing some of these, but I'm like fuck. By the time I I get these things, like the resources I gained from this stash were negated, or I used more fighting these guys than I actually gained out of doing these stashes or searching, scoring, or just even like searching for things. Like sometimes like I got to a certain point, like the last like probably like 3 or 4 chapters, like I'm just gonna mainline it to the next area because it's like I don't even want to like. I just got so frustrated with that, like where I'm like, this is not like I enjoy the combat's good, but it's like I cannot afford to keep wasting resources here to like maybe find a stash, or if I do find a stash, cool. I used 12 bullets on those guys. I got 8 out of this. Or I got like another fucking flare that I have like 8 of these of or something like that. That was kind of a frustration, and like it wasn't so bad in the Alan Wake one because that one's definitely more survival horror-ish, where it's like kind of like there's not, it's like you don't have a big like you're in smaller environments in that one, and it's definitely like you can be a little sneakier in that one to get around, and so there's that benefit. Like so I was like a lot more careful in this one. So that one didn't bother me as much there. That was kind of like my main big frustration was that. And then like dying was kind of annoying because when like, not only dying, but like when you died as Alan Wake, there was like a full like 20-second long thing that you had to go through to then go back into the game. So like there were parts where I would die and I'm like, what is this fucking Symphony of the Night? What the fuck are we doing, man? Let's get me back into the fucking goddamn game. It was shit like that. Like
corridors.
yeah. But like it was little things like that where it was like kind of like my main like crux of my issue was like, man, it's just like I just want to I want to play more of this game. I want to explore more, but it's just like kind of killed me on that one. But yeah, like I mean, overall though, this game is fantastic. Oh man, like I don't know if I like it more than Resident Evil 4. I think the games are different enough that maybe I don't have to compare them too much to myself. Because I love those games for different reasons. But man, like this is very much hits that like if you want that more survival horror-esque, like, Resident Evil 2, or if you love like the Evil Within games, man, this goddamn game is for you. It really is, man. Oh, it's phenomenal. It's so much better than I ever thought it could be. And I'm happy now that like this is like, I mean, I think Control got people to that level, but like now it's like Remedy is like becoming like, I don't want to say a household name, but it's like, I think in the gamer world, like it's definitely put people on notice of like, Remedy is a real player now, and I cannot wait to see where they fucking go from here because it can only get better. I hope we get Control 2 next. I will say the ending, not for me. Didn't like it. A little disappointed. I don't know. I'm not gonna say much more. A little disappointed. But yeah, I played that. I did play some RoboCop Rogue City. I did pick that up. I've only put like 2 hours of it. Man, my God, Gables, it's so goddamn good. I love it so much. Just fucking shoot people in the dick. It's amazing. Like you grab a dude and you kill him by throwing him into another dude, punching a dude, and he flies 10 feet back and he explodes. I gave a dude a parking ticket. That was just fun. Broke a dude's radio. It's like, oh man,
Took a computer monitor, just hucked it across the
yeah.
thing, killed a couple dudes.
Yeah, picked up a dude, threw him out of through a window down like a 20-story building. Man, this game is phenomenal. If you're just looking for like a really great 7 out of 10, I'm gonna play more of it and I'll talk about more next week. Man, if you're looking for like just a really great like 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 type of game, like you're just gonna have a great time. This is the game for you because it's. There was a part where like there's a side story, real quick, where there's a. Like some drug, like there's a drug dealer that was stealing from other drug dealers, and they have a whole like real talk about finances and about supply and demand, and like it was like a 30-second long conversation where like they were gonna like these 3 drug dealers were mad at this other drug dealer for stealing their drugs, And they have this whole thing like they're mad not about him stealing the drugs, but the fact that he's disrupting the market. That was like it was so great. I loved it. It was fucking phenomenal. It was great. And then I killed them all. So
Oh
that game was
god.
great. Gables, the other game I played a little bit of that you also played. We can kind of merge this into our conversation. I played Jusant.
Okay.
I got to chapter 3.
Okay,
Jusant's
you've
people.
already got the chapter 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people know this is a game by DrunkNerds. People know DrunkNerds. They made the last Life is Strange games. Also made Vampire. Um, so this is like an indie game. It's on Game Pass. It's a game like you play, like you might remember from some Game Fest, where you are like you have to like climbing up like a mountain. You have a cute little dude with you, and the game is like exploring this world, and it definitely is like watching this, and it's like a beautiful, unique art style indie game with the cute friend, and the story is told to you through the environment and finding little letters here and there. This is what I would call my shit. Um,
Right.
Play about an hour of this game, Gables. It is not my shit. I love everything. I love the music. I love the art design. I love the cute little creature. I like to find the letters. I like just wandering around the environment, like what happened here, what's going on here. This is my shit. I don't like playing this game.
Oh, okay.
I've got very frustrated with the climbing. The idea of the game is you climb, you have like a little rope that you can use. I got really frustrated with the fact that I felt like that the game, I didn't, the rules didn't always, the rules that they created weren't always, they didn't always follow them. Like, so like I wanted to jump up this thing, or I wanted to like maneuver from one little thing to the next, where like, it's like a little, I got to reach my hand out to grab the environment next to you, the ledge next to you. Like just, every time I pressed the button, it didn't always do the same thing the next time. So I'm like, sometimes I like try to do the jump where I jump, like you jump up to like to get the ledge up, and instead he would
Yep.
jump off the mountain, and I just swing down. So I got to climb. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? I didn't say do that. I like, why the last time you? I got frustrated after like an hour. And I just, it's not for me. I'm not saying this game is a bad game. I just didn't like it. It's not for me. What about you, Gables?
I've played roughly about an hour of it. I mean, I've played through the entire like first chapter, tried to play a little bit of the second chapter and stuff. The game looks fine. The game looks fine and stuff. The whole aesthetics and stuff make it look really much like it pops, the artistic style of it. I didn't mind the controls so much, because like really after about maybe 10, maybe 20 minutes or something like that, I mean, I got used to the whole aspect of just using individual buttons in order to try
Yeah,
to climb certain
I
things.
thought that was good. Yeah,
I thought that it was getting kind of a little bit cumbersome having to try to plant like the different bungee and stuff like that in the center stuff in order to try to
yeah, the pivots
try
or
to
whatever the fuck they're
maneuver
called.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and try to maneuver like into other different places to climb and stuff. There were also types of platform like jumps or something like that that's some that you would think you can possibly make
yeah,
or something that you can explore, but at the same time you can't do that
yeah,
inside of that, which didn't make any sense to me because I've been played enough games over the past couple of years and stuff to where, hey, if there's something far out and stuff that you can possibly get to, you better believe there's going to be some way you can probably try to get to it. But there were some like constraints in that regards to exploration and stuff. I mean, granted, I did find a few letters, I did find a few other types of stuff while going around, but I thought that the climate, like I said before, the climate mechanics is all right and stuff, but I got stuck like towards the beginning of the second chapter because it really wasn't as obvious for me to advance forward. I mean, I have this thing with certain games to where I get to a certain extent and then all of a sudden I get stuck. And what's kind of frustrating to me about this type of game and stuff, it's like this is the type of like adventure game to where like not just like adventure games in general, but it's just the type of game to where there's some interest there that I'm willing to want to play it and stuff like that. But once I get stuck at a certain extent, I just lose all interest and stuff,
hmm.
and I go on to something else. That's definitely what ended up happening with me with like with Jusant and stuff. I mean, everything else is all right. I mean, I don't mind the whole story element stuff to where you have to read like texts and stuff like that, like the letters and this and that. I mean, that's fine. You can piece together the story, kind of like how in other games that I've played before, like say like with Gone Home and like with like God, there were other games too that really made use of like reading text stuff, like Bioshock Infinite. I think also made use of
Bioshock
that.
was just
Plus,
they had the voice tape shit. So
they had the voice
but
tape
no, a lot
stuff.
of
I mean,
indie games.
yeah,
It's just like this is the thing they do with like indie games. So
But yeah, I really didn't. I really didn't continue on with it, unfortunately. May give it another shot, but I'm not. I'll try one more time to see if I can get into it. But if not, I'm probably just gonna focus on something else.
Yeah. All right. What else have you been playing, buddy?
Okay, okay. So like Jusant, there had been a group of games that I've been playing little bits of. Like for example, right after I tried out Jusant and stuff, I tried out Cocoon. And let me tell you
Oh.
something. Cocoon. Cocoon, I'm already past oh my gosh. This game is so fascinating because it lures you in the same type of almost like the same type of intrigue that you had when you were playing Limbo. And obviously this is by the same creator as Limbo, I
Yeah.
think.
It's people that worked on Limbo and
Yes.
they broke off to their own studio.
You could totally tell that this
Yes.
is the development people behind Limbo because as soon as you get in and stuff, there's nothing really explained to you. You just start going around, wandering around and stuff. You figure out the controls for yourself and stuff. You finally figured out, okay, I got to piece together these type of puzzles and stuff in order to advance and stuff. What's really tripping me out is like you can jump into different type of orbs, like worlds inside these orbs, and then jump out, and then these puzzles get a little bit more complex as soon as you try to advance, like say in like the actual game world in and of itself, to where you have to carry the ball with the world you were just in and stuff all the way over to try to advance and solve these other different puzzles. But then once you get it to a certain extent, there's like another orb or something you discover and stuff, and you literally could take like worlds inside of worlds and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm like, Jesus
This
Christ,
game's
my
so good.
mind is. I know. There are some fantastic things in this game. I'm loving so far. I'm at the point right now where I'm inside of that second orb with the green, like sort of swampy sort of environment and stuff like that. But I kind of lost where at exactly what I'm supposed to do because as with like as with these type of games and stuff, it's not going to be entirely obvious what you're going to find a solution for. You have to kind of try to piece things together and stuff. And unfortunately, that is where I kind of ended my little game thing with Cocoon. This one I would definitely go back and play over say Jusant and stuff because this one has more intrigue to it. There are a lot of different elements that I'm really enjoying about it, and I'm pretty sure that it's just one or two like little things that are keeping me from like advancing forward. But yeah, I played some bit of Cocoon. Let's see. I played about an hour or so of Wild Hearts.
Hmm.
I decided to start off Wild Hearts. Yes, the gameplay is really reminiscent of that of Monster Hunter, but there are some little differences. Like, say, you can create your own platforms, jump off of them, and do like dive attacks and stuff onto big old enemy creatures. I went to the introductory part of that game and stuff, to where you're facing off against these snow wolves and stuff, and then all of a sudden you face off against a giant snow wolf and stuff. The action is fast. It's intense in parts. You have like your basic sort of like maneuvers. You can attack the thing, you can go forward and do dodges and stuff, but also you can create those inside mid battle. You can create like different crates and stuff, jump off of them, and just do like random like jump attacks and stuff. You have like a finisher move and stuff. So there are definitely a lot of key elements they borrow from the Monster Hunter series, including uh, besides that, go to the blacksmith and stuff and like improve upon your weapons, doing this and that, you know. But I'm really enjoying the look of the overall overworld of it is, like what it is and stuff. And unfortunately, I haven't really gotten too much into like the story aspects of it because, well, with everything else going on, like this past week with my vacation stuff, I've just been doing things a little bit here and there. So I do have interest in wanting to try to play a little bit more Wild Hearts, see if I can get a little bit more into it. It's not bad. I definitely can see why that it received the review scores that it did get. I mean, it's roughly like around a 79 or something like that on Open Critic.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some good stuff inside of here. But other than that, I did have a chance to play Like a Dragon Ishin. Now, the past couple of games I've mentioned and stuff, I've just played on the Xbox Series X and stuff. Like a Dragon Ishin, man, holy shit, yeah. It's definitely the type of game I'd be really into because the whole open world, sort of like, not like open world, but like an open, action RPG sort of esque and stuff instead of like Edo Japan sort of thing. But what's cool about this is that there's three different type of play styles. You can do like sword based attacks and stuff. You can do like a gun only thing, or you can do something like a wild card sort of thing where you can do the combination of the both. And oh my god, dude, when you do the combination of the both of like the gun and the sword play and stuff like that, it feels so cool because you'll initially just like set up like with a gunshot or something, just do various slashes or whatsoever, and it's like they go through the tutorial esque things of how you can go and like do these different things like gradually. But let's see, the story in of itself is rather interesting because you're basically trying to overthrow like the class base like society of where you're living at right now because that whole country inside of like Japan and stuff is based upon this class based society of like rich and poor and stuff like that. Kind of like how it was for other cultures and stuff like many years ago and stuff. And so basically what happens is you have this diplomat and stuff that works inside of like the higher government that on the side and stuff is raising these orphans and stuff that were the victims of like all of like the tyrannical stuff of this government, burning down houses, killing like women, children, all this other stuff. And this guy basically takes a group of like the orphans and stuff and is like raising them, teaching them, like training them and stuff. So when eventually their overall plan is to try to overthrow the leadership over inside there to make sure that the next generation that grows up doesn't have that type of problem where everyone is just like you can't get a job or you can't do this and stuff like that without like being upon that kind of class base sort of society and stuff, that status. It's really predominant when the opening scene and stuff. It's like when you just get on land for the first time and stuff, and this is like the first like half hour of the game, right? So you finally get on the shore and stuff. You just got done like do with like sword training or something somewhere else, and then all of a sudden you witness like these group of like these military like these government like officials or something like that just picking on this lady and stuff and her child and stuff. She's trying to get her kid to the hospital and stuff like that, but they won't allow her to go and this and that. And so it just ends up like you just kicking the shit out of the officials and stuff like that, which this feels really fucking gratifying. I got to admit, man. But yeah, man, it's that type of action sort of style game that I do enjoy because it's just plain forward about it's open about what it really is and stuff. It's just you doing cool shit and stuff like that inside of an overworld, like a bunch of fun different combat styles. You can earn different points and stuff and use these little notches or nodules and stuff to upgrade certain attacks and do this and do that. It's rather fascinating, and especially since these Yakuza games and stuff, they're based upon like specific like places, like say the Yakuza games in general are based like in Japan roughly and stuff with oh my god, I forgot the name of the dude. But this is basically like the Edo Japan version of like this of the same dude. You see like familiar characters from other Yakuza games and stuff that are inside here, but they're like it's like their ancient ancestors or something of that sort. And I haven't tried any of the like the mini games or any other type of stuff, but it is really cool just to tinker around inside of that stuff. But yeah, it was rather fascinating with that too. But other than that, there is one thing that I've been playing a lot of over the past couple of days, and once Wave 6 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out, that was the time I initially went to say, "Hey, now it's time to play that whole DLC booster stuff." And you know what? I did it my way. I went through on 50cc's and stuff. I went through every single thing of the DLC stuff, and my god, dude, those courses, those DLC courses, especially with like the last year or so, including like the last wave release and stuff, these are fantastic tracks. I mean, absolutely fantastic. The Yoshi's Island one, that one was amazing because there's different sounds, there's different type of things that pay reference to that game, coin sounds or something like that. And then once you finish the course, it's like the ending theme of a stage that you clear, dun 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 dun, just it just does that and stuff. But I'm really loving that they included almost every single like Rainbow Road course inside of this one game. Like say you'll have the N64 version, the 3DS version. The last course is the Wii's Rainbow Road, which I played a ton of on Mario Kart Wii back when and stuff. And I'm like, hey, you know what? They didn't just straight up port it. They did things to improve it, right? To where sometimes some tracks will have it to where they've done like altercations and stuff to where like they'll add different passageways or they'll improve certain aspects that the other tracks didn't have and stuff, and they've been rather enjoyable. But yeah, I spent a good few hours and stuff like that. Now I got 15 hours or so played of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now, and that's I've completed every single course on 50cc. I think that the only I am like halfway through with 100cc type of stuff for like just the I cleared out the regular Mario Kart 8 Deluxe content and stuff. I haven't done the DLC stuff yet with 100cc. So we'll see what happens when that initially goes through and like I try to do more of that. But yeah, man, that's what I've been playing this week. I've just been playing multiple different types of games. I've been wanting to try to catch up on different things that I haven't had a chance really to tackle. But I wanted to try to at least get a good familiarity with a bunch of different games that have released this year, and thankfully, because of Game Pass, I've been able to do
Yeah.
that.
Well, very cool, Gables. Um, well, I think that might wrap it up for us this week, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, whatever you guys doing, playing us, listening to us while you sleep. Maybe while you wake up. Maybe while you were washing your body, Gables was saying sweet nothings into your ear, talking sweet romance about Mario Kart 8 DLC. Hmm? Hmm? Think about that? Why don't you? But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I was host, I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds
Thank you, Gables.
Podcast.
Too sweet.
Yeah. Too
Bye,
sweet,
guys.
man. See ya.